Are you looking to be a new dungeon master? How about maybe improve to become a better dungeon master? Then this video is exactly what you are looking for. I have 5 simple steps which I'm going to go over next here on Thaco's Cave. Hey, greetings everyone out there, Rod here. You know, starting out as a new dungeon master, things can be a bit overwhelming. I would say sometimes they can even be confusing to most. Now, today I have 5 very excellent pointers which will save you time in the preparation for you to host your first Dungeons and Dragons session. Well, back in the days of basic and AD&D, you had modules like Steading of the Hill Giant Chieftain, which is only 8 pages long, and another one was Slave Pits at Undercity, which is only 24 pages long. You could put your DM notes on a single sheet of paper on one side. Now these had a removable jacket or cover with a map on the inside, just like this one that I got sitting right here. You were able to read these in about an hour or 2. It didn't take very long for you to take down your notes, and then you were ready to play. Nowadays, we have adventure campaign modules like Storm King's Thunder and Prince's Apocalypse that have over 250 pages each. Now granted, some of this information is lore that is necessary for the Dungeon Master to run the campaign, and new monsters and NPCs that the players will encounter. Now a lot of these might not be in the Monster Manual or Volo's Guide to Monsters, which I'll go into those at a later date. Before your 0 session even starts, you're going to have a lot of hours already invested in just reading through and preparing your notes. Here's how I'm going to save you a bunch of unnecessarily wasted time so you can personally get ready for your very first adventure setting. Step 1. You should give the adventure campaign setting a quick scan through. You know, just look for high points in it. This right here will tell you whether or not this will fit your dungeon mastering style and also meet your players' expectations. If not, you can find a one-shot or what they call a sidetrack somewhere online. Or if you have a monthly subscription like I do to Dungeon Crate, you're going to get one in the mail. Sometimes maybe 2. Step 2. When you do finally sit down to read your adventure setting, what I would suggest is reading it all the way past the play introduction to include that whole chapter. This way, you're going to be getting important information that you're going to need. Stuff such as the lore of the area, you know, the background information, political interaction that might be going on or fixing to happen in the area, and key and important NPCs and others involved in the story setting. Make sure you look for these when you are reading, because this right here will help you set up for character interaction. This can also be an excellent opportunity for both yourself and your players to role play out some of the settings. Step 3. The next thing you should do is familiarize yourself with the appendix in the back of the book. This right here is going to be really helpful because this tells you where NPC stat blocks are and also all these interesting creatures you might come across. It's very good to know this because you can add and subtract from the stat blocks, and you can substitute other creatures depending on your player character's levels. Step 4. This is very important and I cannot stress it enough. While reading each of the chapters of the module, I suggest writing all your notes down on 3x5 cards. This will help you keep everything right there at your fingertips and organized as you need it. Step 5. And honestly, this is the most important step in this set. I suggest giving yourself plenty of time to read the section that you prepared for an hour or 2 before your 0 session. This right here will help keep the information fresh in your mind so you're not having to flip back and forth in the book. Here's a bonus for everyone who made it through the video this far. A chapter can take anywhere from a session or 2 to complete. Sometimes longer, sometimes you can have a chapter done in an hour. This totally depends on how your players want to go about doing things. Say they're tracking down a thief who stole Widow Bronson's vase. Unknown to your players, if they put a candle inside this vase, they can see the fractures from where the vase had been broken. Now, the light coming through will illuminate the glue seams on a blank wall. These seams are actually a map to a hidden temple that had been swallowed up by the dead swamp. You're gonna have to keep in mind that there are pieces moving in the background of all adventures. Not all NPCs are sitting there in suspended animation just waiting for you to get within so many yards of them before they actually animate and spring into action. Events are definitely going to unfold, even if the PCs aren't around. Now, unknown to your players, there's a series of gelatinous cubes living here, behind secret passage doors. These doors are only accessed through the other side where the cubes are at. These gelatinous cubes only serve one purpose. They are the temple janitors. They go through, they scrub the floor, the walls, the ceilings if they're large enough. They pick up dead bodies, armor, broken weapons, any debris that trespassers leave behind in their wake. Once they are through, they progress through and go through another secret door to get ready for their next cleanup on aisle 3. I suggest starting out with a pre-written adventure setting like what comes in the starter set or the essentials kit. Honestly, I say you need both of them in order to run a successful starting campaign for people. Lost Mines of Phandelver and the Dragon of Icespire Peak both go hand in hand very well, and they both take place in the once prosperous mining community of Phandelver. Here, your players are going to interact with people living in the town and others outside. You can go on side quests. You don't have to follow what's set up in the book. This is a total sandbox operation. For those of you who are thinking about using the starter set and the essentials kit to get started, I will be making some videos based strictly on those 2-box sets. You tell me down there in those comments whether or not you want to hear me tell you about the time when I ran the B3 module in Search of the Unknown for a group of 5th level adventurers who just happened to stumble across the entryway under a fountain in a peaceful farming village. Like this video, comment down below, and share with others. It really helps out. It also sends a message to YouTube that this is good content. Right over here you're going to find a link to the video I made, Part 1, Castle Caldwell and Beyond. I have personally used this floor plan in games of my own, as a bandit hideout and a cultist worshipping center. And until next time, you guys have a great game. Now, grab that D8 and roll your damage.